Hello everyone, Morris and welcome to Tanks Invest. Talk about investing, finance, financial development for today's items only. The investment top today would be Ethereum ticker ETH. First, just want to say happy Friday, everybody. Hope you had a great week so far. With respect to Ethereum, I'm recording us of 8:42 a.m. on Eastern Time, currently $23,216, down about 0.04% so far. It seems like we are normalizing from the surge that we experienced yesterday. I believe at one point we were up close to about 8% yesterday because of all the positive media affectation and the expectations for the $600 million of option expiry, driving Bitcoin to go up yesterday to be close to about 6.5% surge yesterday and across the whole other altcoins of the world. I think Dogecoin's up about 8% and Cardano's up about 17% respectively, which was an enormous surge, right? So with respect to some of the news I've been collecting this morning, ever since I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, collectively there's been some positive news. The first one's coming from Decrypt. Talk about the recovery since May crash that we incurred, right? When we hit all the way to the bottom of 1697, and subsequently we retest the level of 1750. And then another one, this is a mega one. So Coinbase get the board, all of the board of directors to approve adding $500 million in crypto to the balance sheet, comparable to like Tesla, which is incurring Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I believe some other coins into Tesla balance sheets as well, and is aiming to invest 10% of the profits in digital asset going forward. That's the agreement that they have in the legal perspective, per Brian Armstrong, the CEO, on Thursday. That's that to the public world. And then the other one is talking about from Decrypt. 15 hours ago, Ethereum scaling solution Polygon launches DAO to unite DeFi platform. Another improvement with respect to the long-term value proposition for Ethereum, so another great news. And then with respect to the next one, this is an interesting one. So this is coming from MarketWatch about 12 hours ago as well. So SEC, right, they've been warning financial regulators about the compliance pressure, regulatory constraints, etc., etc. But they are unsure, how do they really structuralize this DeFi, knowing the fact that the concept of DeFi is meant to be decentralized per se, right? And to put some enforcement and regulatory constraints on it, it can be a little bit convoluted and confusing. So the article talks about the the struggle between the regulators, SEC, and obviously the crypto assets representatives on their basically a conundrum that they're experiencing, right? Like the confusion that they have to sort out to subsequently establish some legality or some structure in between, right? And then another one is talking about with respect to Ethereum creator. So Vitalik Buterin, on an article that came out about 18 hours ago from Fortune magazine, saying that Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg are doing crypto wrong because of some of the media affectation they've been experiencing so far. And frankly, they're not utilizing Ethereum or other crypto assets to their fullest potential, which obviously, I don't mind it. Vitalik, he's a smart guy. He is a subject matter expert in the crypto space, obviously, for the right reason. He invented Ethereum, right? So I think there's obviously some knowledge gap or communication gap at the same time that subsequently drives some misinterpretation or et cetera, et cetera. And then the last one comes from Bitcoiners 20 hours ago talking about Ethereum sustaining about the $3,000 level. Can we hold on to be above the $3,000 level? So that's where we come in to talk about the technical analysis to see how we're trending going forward with respect to this weekend coming. And I believe, with 1 week out, or a little bit more than a week out, with respect to the Jackson Hole speech that we'll be hearing from Jerome Powell, it's how that's going to be shaking out, and some other positive or negative media affectation that we should be expecting, and what level of resistance we should be dollar cost averaging. So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to technical analysis for Ethereum ticker ETH on request of 8:50 a.m. on Eastern Time, $23,223, up about 0.15% so far. It seems like we are normalizing from the surge that we experienced yesterday, right? With Ethereum up about like 8% yesterday, Bitcoin respectively up about close to 6.9% yesterday. And today we're kind of normalizing. So before I dive into the specificity around the technicals, let's take a look at this chart real quick. Right? Doesn't it look very comparable to how we're trending so far? Right? And again, I don't really have any bias, right? It seems like we are, you know, forming, a late stage of a new paradigm. We are basically in the denial stage. The bull trap can look kind of comparable if you look at this, right? You see that we have been denying, and then a bull trap, right? A whale came in because obviously for the right reasons, right? We see a lot of positive news so far. We also know that the option expiry for Bitcoin is happening today, $600 million worth of it, and we see some surge because of that volatility from the contracts. Um, and in addition to that, it seems like we've been surging up for the last 18 days with the consecutive, coincidental, frankly, positive news that we hit the apex or the new paradigm per the chart. Now we're selling off, to the denial, and then we going back up to trap the people, expecting that we stay above the 3,000, right? So I think ideally, and again, I didn't make this chart up, right, with respect to this Wall Street cheat sheet, if you may. It looks very comparable, right? So if the whales are incentivized to sell off, knowing the fact that they did buy somewhere around here, they could potentially weigh off and cool us down. I hope the ideal will be just like on trade on sideways fashion and not moving. We'll just be bouncing up and down between the 3,150 or 3,200, between the levels of 3,000, right? And just keep oscillating on a sideways fashion to the point that we deplete the RSI completely, MACD completely dragged up, that we will have to surge as the next one. By the time we will be forming some sort of like a downward wedge that will squeeze us to pump up to the next level high, right? Which the next level will technically be, um, yeah, 3,600 if we were to incur a next surge, right? But I think the likelihood will be low because the chart looks very comparable to what we're seeing right now. I think we are at the bull trap, right? And we are basically back to like return to normal. I think people are thinking, oh, we gotta keep going because of, we're gonna stay above 3,000. But the whales know just enough that they need to take profit sometime. And I think the sector rotation could be coming, that they might rotate their funds to somewhere else to chase for the equity side of the house, which you see that there's a lot of sell-offs on the equity side, right? And when you see that, you start to see fear, you see capitulation, you see despair. This is when people are freaking out, like holding the bags, like the way that you guys were probably, or including, myself in the past when I didn't learn enough about technical analysis, that you were holding the bags because you bought at the top, or you were buying because you were FOMOing on the bull trap, right? So something to be mindful of. And again, I would just practice patient, wait for the 3,000 if you want to really incur some risk, 2,750 to incur some true risk. But I think the dip would be still around like the fear encapsulation level. But that's like the right level to dollar cost average, right? So I think ideally I'll be buying at 2,450 when the sell off comes. But I do hope that none of this is true, to be honest with you. I hope that I'm completely just talking nonsense, right? But ultimately, the money has to come from somewhere. People have to be incentivized to pump money into Ethereum, right? We can't just expect the all-time high without the money being circulated to the right dynamics, right? All right, just to recap on numbers and technical analysis, again, right, per the chart, it looks very comparable, and I really hope we stay above 3,000 because that will tells us a lot with respect to the battles between the, obviously the bears and the bulls, right? And ultimately, we hope that because of the fact that the whales did buy somewhere around like 2,750, 2,450, we hope that they are not going to be running out of patience. But the chart is very bearish based on the way it's set up right now. that selling off back to these levels will be just more risk averse for myself, right? But long term wise, if you're buying at the current level, 9,800, 3.3 times your money from here. All right, so that's it for today. Respect my technical analysis on Ethereum Ticket ETH. Hopefully this is helpful into giving you that clarity, that understanding with respect to the market cycle that we are enduring at the moment, right? I'm gonna be around, so feel free to give me a shout and stay tuned for us coming up. Take care.